Okay, so next is Silva in Fairfield, California. Hey, Silva.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Were you listening to that last call?
Yes, I was. I actually came in about halfway through it. I actually wasn't really sure what he was actually trying to say necessarily.
Well, he's a Muslim, and he believed that that there was good reason but no evidence to believe in God. So I don't know if you're going to agree with that or not.
Well, see, it depends what you guys consider evidence. Like, for instance, do you think a logical argument could prove that God exists?
No. I think we might as well have kept talking to Samir.
Yeah. No.
I'm sorry. What kind of evidence are you guys looking for then?
Well, first of all, if you're going to argue for a God, the question I have for you is, does this God have any impact on the physical world?
Let's see.
Like, I mean, does he answer prayers and stuff, for instance?
See, that's the thing. He doesn't necessarily have to.
But does he?
Like, for instance, you know, Jesus rising from the dead, in afterlife, all those questions are almost irrelevant. It's the fact of the matter if God exists.
Okay.
If God exists, we don't have to go anywhere after we die or anything like that.
Well, no, I'm not asking that. I'm saying if you're asserting that this God exists, what does this God do?
He's created the universe. He's created everything that exists for his own purpose.
And where is the evidence for that?
The evidence that he created the universe.
Sure.
Such as anything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause.
Yes, we know what Kalam cosmological argument is.
Yes, I realize that you guys do. So now we got to figure out what could that cause be.
What?
And that's what we attribute to be God. For instance, since the universe is space, time, and, you know, material things and all that good stuff, that is what God is not. So basically, since God created space and time, he is not bounded by space and time.
So when you say universe, you mean the specific universe that we live in now that started to exist with the Big Bang, and disregarding all possible metaverses or parallel universes or anything we might dream up like that. You're just talking about this universe here.
Well, no, I'm saying anything that begins to exist, period. You can't say that, you know, the universe has always existed, meaning in some form or another.
I'm just trying to clarify what you mean by universe, because there is more than one meaning of universe. Like in math,
it could be a multiverse, or,
universe means the set of all possible things, right? In math, a universe is the set of all possible things, or the set of things under discussion. And we don't know that that began to exist. We just know that this universe began with the Big Bang.
Okay, well, you can't have an infinite number of past events.
Okay, so what can you have?
Somewhere. You see, you can't just keep going back, and back.
I don't actually know that.
Yeah. Yeah, how would you demonstrate that?
You don't know that.
How would you demonstrate that?
Okay, well, let's say I have let's say I have an infinite number of coins to begin with, right?
Okay, obviously you don't have that in this universe.
Yeah.
Huh?
Obviously you don't have that in this universe, but let's say that you have a wormhole to some infinite subspace somewhere. You've got an infinite number of coins, sure.
Okay, since you have an infinite number going, how would you ever get to the next point? It would always be in a neutral state.
That's kind of like asking, if I'm at 3, how can I count to 4? Because the numbers are infinite. You can still do that.
I'm saying they're not individual numbers here. When you speak of infinite, you don't speak of actual individual numbers. It's more of a collection of the entirety of things.
Right? Okay. But an infinity is still made up of individual things.
Yeah, but you don't get to infinity by counting one by one. And
well, I mean, if you count an infinite amount of time, you do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about like abstract mathematical stuff again, and not about things that actually happen in the universe.
Well, I'm saying, okay. Basically, I'm saying the universe began to exist. Are you disagreeing with that point?
as far as this particular universe beginning to exist with the Big Bang, and not knowing if the matter, what the matter was doing before the Big Bang, conditionally, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that matter has always existed then?
Not necessarily. I don't know.
We don't know.
See, I mean, here's the thing that's going to happen with the Kalam is that you're going to say God, that God, if you don't mind me skipping to the end of your argument.
Yeah, okay.
You're going to say that God didn't begin to exist, and therefore God is in this special category where only this thing that is like your God can defy these rules that you've said apply to everything else.
Well, it's not necessarily special pleading, though, because the universe is in time.
That's true. This universe is.
So, of course, he didn't begin to exist because he's outside of time.
That's special pleading.
Right. So basically, it doesn't have to be a God. It could be anything outside of time. It could be a ham and cheese sandwich outside of time that never began to exist.
But a ham and cheese sandwich is a physical thing, though.
So?
So your God is not a physical thing, huh?
No, it's not. It's a mind.
So can
and you know this because?
Huh?
You know that it's a mind because?
Well, that's another thing. It can't. If it's not a physical thing, what else? It has to be something that's immaterial.
Why?
Okay. Name me something then that is non-physical. What
Can you name me something that is a God?
Yeah.
Huh?
Can you name me something that is a God? Can you point to a specific thing that we've observed that is godlike in any way?
No.
So if you're going to try to argue based on only things that we observe, we can say things about?
Well, we can go on is what we observe, and I'm saying the universe, as we know, has begun to exist.
Sure, as we know.
There has to be a cause of its existence.
Well, no, there doesn't have to be.
There doesn't have to be.
No.
I mean, out of nothing, nothing comes.
You already agree that some things exist without a cause, specifically God. So the rule that you're trying to make apply to everything isn't universal.
The only reason why I'm saying that he exists without a cause is because he's timeless. So there is no time for there to be a cause to cause him.
But you've never actually seen a timeless thing, and so you can't really say that this is something that even makes sense.
Okay, I've never seen a timeless thing because I myself am in time because I'm in the universe. The universe is space and time.
So how do you know that we're not part of a metaverse that has always existed?
You said what?
How do you know that we're not part of a metaverse that has always existed? Like, have you ever read all the C.S. Lewis books?
No, I have not.
There's one, there was a prequel to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe where he has this cool sort of fantasy world where the Earth is actually sort of, there's like this gateway universe where little universes like the Earth and Narnia are being created. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a huge tangent. This is not going to help. But I mean, it's a good story. The Magician's Nephew, that's the one.
Okay, I've heard of that, though.
But what I'm saying is that just because we don't know a thing doesn't give us license to just make up any notion that we want to and attach the label God to it, because God is also one of those things that you really don't know about.
Put to it? I mean, when you start going to a timeless, changeless, immaterial creator of the universe, what other word would you put to that?
Well, does it have intelligence?
If I'm trying to describe that to you, that's the only word I know to put to that.
Does it have
saying the properties of it?
Does it have intelligence?
Does it have intelligence? What do you define as intelligence? I would assume yes.
You would assume yes. How do you know? How did that come into the definition of timeless? I mean, you wouldn't be satisfied with an unintelligent God, right? The reason my ham and cheese sandwich example sounded dumb is because ham and cheese sandwiches don't have, agency.
Yeah.
But I mean, the logic that you're doing, even if it winds up working, can only take us to a place where there's got to be something or other that isn't physical or isn't in this universe. And as long as it's been around forever, even if it's a sandwich, then that satisfies your conditions.
Okay. Earlier, you spoke of the metaverse, and there being multiple universes and things like that.
It's a hypothesis.
Yeah.
You can't just keep on going back and back to all these different events that occur.
Why not?
How would you ever get to the next event? If it never began, how would you never get to the next one?
By counting?
Yeah.
Where would you start at?
There's no starting at something has no meaning in infinity.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how would you... Exactly, there's no reason for it.
So
infinity leads to logical contradiction. I mean, what's infinity minus infinity?
Infinity.
Exactly. What's infinity minus 3 or plus 2? You still get the same number.
Infinity, but that's because infinity isn't a specific number. It also is a concept that we sort of use to describe something. I mean, sort of a set of some things.
Exactly.
Is this God of yours infinite?
Huh?
Is this God of yours infinite?
How would I say that? Well, he's timeless. So, in a sense, you can say that, but he's timeless.
Sort of around for an infinity of time, you could say.
Exactly, because he's just always been.
So you don't really believe that things can't go back forever?
You said what?
You don't really believe that things can go back forever?
That they can't go back forever. Yeah.
I don't believe that they can't go back forever.
Yeah, you believe your God can go back forever.
Just because you said God can break these rules that you've got.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because he's personal, meaning he can choose to, in their end time when he chose to create the universe.
Okay.
Exactly. It's not really that,
How do you know what choices this God made when he chose to create the universe?
It's more of just going on the evidence, pretty much. I mean,
Well, what evidence do you have that your God made a choice about anything?
Because if he's timeless, and then
No. That's just timeless doesn't get you to that he made a choice.
Well, how would he step out of timelessness if he didn't make a choice to step out of it?
Huh?
What?
If he didn't make a choice to step out of timelessness to end time, meaning to create something, rather than it being just him as one thing, what would you call that?
Still not following you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going on the presupposition that he created the universe. So let's say that's true, and you're saying, how do I know that he made a choice to create the universe?
How do you
If he's timeless and then creates the universe, he had made a choice to create it.
Well, I mean, if we're going with presuppositions, you can say anything you want.
Well, I'm saying
that's
you just
a
asked me how do I
circular.
know, and I'm saying that's what I'm going off of.
Well,
But she didn't ask you to make a presupposition. You seem to think you know stuff about God. I'm sorry.
You're assuming that your God exists. You're assuming that the creation of the universe was a choice. What if he just had gas or something?
See, now you guys are just playing around with it, putting stuff that,
No, I'm trying to get you to make a coherent argument here, because you've chosen to advance an argument that really relies on some logical fallacies. I mean, one of which is special pleading. Everything has to follow these rules except your God, who is exempt from
you're saying it's except, but I'm saying if something created time, it is timeless. I mean, that's just how that goes.
And where is your evidence that something created time?
Because the universe began to exist.
Okay,
And the universe is space and time. That's what I'm going on.
But you haven't
you guys
ruled
brought
out
the
that
metaverse,
it's...
saying that there's a multitude of,
You haven't given us a reason to think it's a god and not like C.S. Lewis's Magic Forest or a ham sandwich.
Okay, well, it couldn't be a physical entity because the universe has physical things in it.
It's a metaphysical ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, you guys can put any word you want to it. You know, I mean, I'm just saying that thing exists. You guys can put any words. You could say it's I don't know, an elephant or something. You could put any word you want to it, a metaphysical one. You know, it doesn't really make any difference.
So it's not necessarily true that an intelligence created the universe. Just something that's timeless.
Something that's timeless, changeless, and immaterial.
I'm not sure how you got to those things, but, well, or at least
it would have to be immaterial because it has to be outside of the universe. In the universe, we have physical things.
It could be in another universe, though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what created that universe then? How did that universe get there? I mean, how do you guys explain these
Well,
things?
you already think that infinite things exist, so I don't see why this is any different. Like with the last caller, I think I'm going to ask you to email or call in again next week because we have other calls lined up. But it's been an interesting call. Do you want to get a last thing in?
I'll just call back next week, guys. It's cool.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for calling, Silva.